In today's video, you're going to get to see one unique 55 Chevy. Hello everybody and welcome to Classic Car ChitChat. My name is Kevin. I am thrilled you're joining me again today. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Frank Cohn. You may have seen Frank before on my channel. He has a number of beautiful cars. Frank has a bit of an addiction problem, for lack of better words. He calls himself a caraholic. He keeps promising that he won't buy any more new cars, but lo and behold, he just went and bought this 55 Chevy. This car is a little bit special in that Frank's goal is to keep the entire exterior as original as possible, have all the patina, put all that up for show and to display it. However, under the hood is something really special. In this video, you're going to get to see a journey as to how the car was discovered and what it looks like after all the restoration work was done. A lot of this work was done at a local company right here in Mississauga called Beyond Zero, and they use dry ice to do a lot of the cleaning. So without further ado, let's hop in, let's go for a drive, let's check out this unique 55 Chevy.
Again, it's been a while.
It's been a while, and we were just saying that previously you had said that you're not buying any more cars.
And I lied.
Yes, you did.
I couldn't control myself. I bought two more.
You have a bit of an illness.
Yeah, it's an obsession.
Yeah,
I'm a caraholic. I can't help it.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't think there's a club for that. Well, the Mississauga Classic Car Club.
Yeah,
yes,
car club. Yeah, it's
that
full
will
of us.
actually promote your habit,
That's
no
it.
doubt. But okay.
My new old 55 Chevy.
And where did you find it, Frank?
Right here at Auto Tech. It belonged to one of the mechanics.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been after him for 10 years to sell me this. And he retired and thought, okay, he wanted to go to a good home.
So what are your intentions for this car ultimately? What are you hoping to do?
Well, I'm going to get the paint that's left, because it's original, restored, and I've got a company that can do that. And the bare spots we're going to treat and leave as they are.
So you're going to give this baby some character.
Yeah.
It is not going to be intended to go pristine in any way, shape, or form.
It's not a show car.
Wow.
But it is a very fast car.
What? Was this stored like inside, outside?
No, it's been outside for years and years and years.
Look at that, like the rust spots and everything. Yeah, but in the usual places one would expect. Look at that. That's almost a map of Italy right there. Yeah, there we go. You can probably track the entire globe on this thing somehow. Oh, wow. Okay, what's inside?
You ready to see
come on.
the jewelry box?
Let's do it. The meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
350 Chevy, Holley carburetor, Holley high performance manifold.
Wow.
Electronic fan for the rad. It's had a front disc brake conversion.
So it's got a bit of stopping power. I guess when this beast gets going, it's a big heavy car.
Well, look at this. The chain.
What is that? I'm wondering.
That's because of the torque on this engine. They were afraid it was going to rip it off the motor mount, so we put a chain on it.
Really? What's it like on the inside there?
Okay. Put this down. Now this is the 210 model, not the Bel Air. This is one step below the Bel Air.
So would it, I guess you call this the working man's car?
Yeah, more of that, yeah. And it's a 4-door, not a 2-door.
Original radio, Frank.
Which, unfortunately, I hate it when I get a car with a radio that doesn't work. But that'll be taken care of.
So I guess, the badging, was it from the US or like what's the history? Do we know where the car came from originally?
No idea.
Look at the speaker there for the radio. Amazing. The tack is obviously new. That's
new,
nice,
yes.
Yeah. This is going to be so much fun, Frank, to work on. I'm excited for you, my friend.
I've already driven it in the parking lot once, and it scared the
Shifted it,
bejesus out of me.
Wow.
The original clutch pedal is actually hidden behind the carpet.
Is that right?
It was
It's
turned
kinda
into
just-
you can't see it unless you pull the carpet back,
Right
because it was
on.
turned into an automatic.
This thing just screams. I don't know what it is. Like, it's
Yeah.
just something magical about this car. What's it like in the back, sir? Oh, a little dusty. But I do love the bench seats, Frank.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at even the rubber seals and everything.
Yeah.
Look at this one. Wow. It is so interesting to see a car in this state before you start working on it.
Oh, I know.
And I'm glad you kind of called me
Yeah.
to say, here, now's the time to really
That's it.
get a good look at it before we get too far into this.
And this little element is a signal that it's an 8-cylinder, not a 6.
Okay,
So I've been told.
interesting. And again, the gas tank is on the side as
Yeah.
opposed to in
That's
behind.
right.
Very interesting. So, let's talk about this. The next step, you said, you have, well, you have a place you want to take the car to, and we're going to do a recording of that soon as well.
Yeah, the company is called Beyond Zero. That's
Okay.
BYOND.
Yeah.
And they specialize in doing dry ice blasting using CO2 to do the engine compartments underneath the car, chrome and trim. They can't do the paint with it, but they can make it basically look like brand new. It's amazing what this company can do.
Okay.
They also have a gentleman, his name is Chris, who does paint restoration. And if he can do to this car what he's done to 2 of my other cars, I'm anticipating that what color's left on it should look nice and gloss and shiny
From this state.
from this state, and then they're going to treat and leave exposed the other spots.
Yeah. The patina effect. I
Yeah.
mean, that's going to give it character.
Yeah, they're also going to steam clean the interior. They're going to dry ice blast the undercarriage.
My God.
So it should be rather spectacular.
I'm excited to meet them.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
do the second part of this this video
Yeah.
with them. So that'll be amazing.
Yes.
Go for it. Start her up, sir.
Let me get the keys first. It's easier to start it with a key.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Except
Too many keys. What's that? That's the wrong car.
Frank, sometime today I've only got a little bit of film left.
Sorry.
Is it my fault you've got 18 cars?
Yes.
Oh.
How do you like them apples?
Oh my God, that's...
Pretty deceptive. It looks like a blue shit
Yeah, you
box,
would not
but,
expect that noise coming
no.
out of this. I think that's going to be the beauty of it all when you get it done,
Exactly.
right?
She'll look as good as she sounds.
One more time.
Okay.
Oh.
Essentially,
Okay, wait. First of all, Frank, who is this young fella here? He's just out of high school, and his name is...
No, he's still in public school.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. No, Chris is basically the person that does everything in here. He does the dry ice blasting, he does paint restoration, he steam cleans interior. He's done 5 of my cars, 4 of my cars.
Wow.
however many.
And what he can do restoring paint is mind-blowing. Because I've had my Caprice and my 73 Riviera, we all thought the paint was shot beyond repair. And I gave it to Chris, and everyone has thought with both those cars that I had it repainted. And
Wow.
it's done at a fraction of the price of a paint job. So
Okay.
it's not cheap to do, but it's, again, so much cheaper than having to repaint a car. It's actually a great deal.
Awesome. So, Chris, nice to meet you. So,
Pleasure.
tell us what you do at Beyond Zero. I love the name of the company.
So yeah, essentially it's mainly dry ice. Now that we've had the opportunity to work on projects like with Frank, we get to do a lot of paint
Chris,
correction
a little
as well.
closer, my friend. Sorry.
So-
There you go. Yep.
Essentially for paint, there's two types of paint. There is a normal modern car paint, which is a 3-stage paint. And then there's a single-stage paint like we see here. Main difference is between a modern paint and a single-stage paint is a single-stage paint would be the color and the clear coat are mixed together, thrown on top of a base, and that is what we see.
Okay.
3-stage paint would be a base, color, and then clear. So the difference in working with that is significant. The difference in color, opacity, depth, everything like that. Yeah, so essentially with a single stage paint, what we're working with is a lot less. With Frank's car here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut back as much as we can of this oxidized top layer of this paint and bring back what we can't see underneath, and that is a beautiful blue. And that's essentially it.
So how do you get it to that point? Like, is it all hand done? Like, what is the process behind it?
So with a paint like this, you could either go to one of two ways. There's two machines you can use. There's a dual action machine and a rotary machine. If you're super old school and you really know what you're doing, like some of the older guys out there, you can take a rotary to it, and which is just one direction spin.
Yeah.
And you can cut back all of this oxidized paint and bring it back to a shine, and then you can also finish it. A lot of times when people are working with paint, they don't think that there's multiple stages to this. But yeah, you need to cut back what's there, and what will be left is a lot of little swirl marks and everything, and then you have to finish it up after that to take away anything that you might have done.
Okay, so I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. So you're using dry ice to do some of the application of this?
So the dry ice would be just cleaning.
Okay.
So for example, the underbody, the engine bay, things with a lot of grease. Paint correction, on the other hand, is a completely different process, completely different machine, completely different products. Dry ice essentially is just our machine over here.
Okay.
And it is very similar to a steam cleaner or a pressure washer, where it is shooting a substrate out at a certain pressure.
Okay.
Just so happens that in dry ice, the substrate is dry ice.
Right.
As opposed to sandblasting would be sand or silica or glass, beads, something like that.
And dry ice is safe and around electricals and things like that? You're not going to mess up any of the...
So the beautiful thing about dry ice is that there is no liquid involved. There is no chemicals involved. It is all the impact of the dry ice hitting the surface of whatever is on, say, metal, plastic, rubber, and creating a micro explosion as it hits, and this blows away anything that's there. So using air, which is also what this is shooting the dry ice out with, it is blowing away.
So it's non-evasive.
So it's not an evasive thing where it's going to get into electronics and damage them per se. Obviously, you have to be careful with, like in any powerful cleaning method.
Right.
But yeah, it's plastic, metal, paint. The only things that you want to avoid are anything super porous like a foam, where the dry ice would get into all of these little crevices and then blow it apart. So we want to avoid that, obviously.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you think with Frank's car here, like, what would your process be? Where would you start? Like, would you start with the engine bay? Would you kind of, what's your plan for this particular car?
So if you follow me over here, I'll grab a special little tool that I use.
Kevin, I want to show you the underneath of the trunk, because that's what the paint may look like when he's done.
That would be interesting to see.
Hopefully.
Not quite.
Yeah, this will look a lot better when you're done.
So yeah, so in this case, all of this dirt that you see, all of this rubber, what dry ice will essentially do is remove the dirt and bring back the original surface. So rubber, for example, will look brand new. Metal, for example, any oxidized rust on the surface will be blown away, and that is what we're going to be left with, is what was there originally. We can't remove rust completely, unfortunately. It's not magic, although it seems like it. But it does make it look far better.
Wow. Okay. So what's this handy dandy tool that you're describing here?
So anybody who knows anything about paint correction will use a paint gauge.
Okay.
Some guys stray away from it because they think they know better. The safe way to gauge any paint would be to use one of these. So for this, we're working with microns. Well, at least I use microns. Some guys use millimeters or mils. So in this case, we have 650 microns. A micron is a tenth of a human hair, tenth of a width.
So that's the thickness of
human hair.
coating
So
of paint.
The thickness of the paint is 650 microns.
And would you test like several different areas?
So as I go along, the first step of my process would be to take, say, right here, and I want to go 650, so I know how much I'm working with. I know how much I'm working with on this panel. I have a little bit more. I have a little bit less right there.
Wow, so it varies across. Oh, this is interesting.
So I have a little
Actually,
bit
it's
more
more
right
on
there.
the
So,
top. Okay.
So this can vary depending on many factors. The painting process of a car of this year would be far different than a car made today. A lot of cars made today are painted with a machine, whereas these would be painted by hand. Okay. So in some cases, you might have a lot of paint on the top, a little bit less paint on the bottom, a little bit less paint, or a little bit more paint towards the very bottom of the panel.
Right.
It all depends on the company, the year. There's so many different factors.
Yeah.
So on a car that's oxidized like this, we're also have to take into consideration that it has seen better days, and the sun has affected this paint significantly. Also, we have to take into consideration that there may have been work done on this car prior to this. So any given part of this, you can find that this paint gauge might not read. So when we see things like that, that means that there is either a body filler or it's a different material that this does not.
So Bondo City.
So
underneath.
if you hit a Bondo spot, you're going to know it because this won't read it.
Okay.
If you hit something that would be, say, plastic, or on a modern car, say carbon fiber or fiberglass, you're going to know that that's carbon fiber or fiberglass because it won't read. And just check.
Just out of curiosity, in the bare spot there, what do you get?
So right there, now we're reading metal, base and metal.
Okay.
So it shot right up because there's either a fill, we're reading base or metal, and that's
interesting.
What you see.
I got a nice little oil leak here from the oil pan, which will be fixed.
That's called rust proofing in British cars.
It is, I know. Sometimes oil leaks have saved the underneath of some cars.
I've seen a couple where if there wasn't so much oil underneath it, it would most definitely be rotted out.
Yeah.
More concerning. Yeah.
What do you think about the headers? Do you think they're going to improve much or not?
So where you see how they're rough like this?
Yeah.
Like a lot of, see how I'm flaking it off like that? Like a lot of that, we're not going to see that anymore.
Okay.
They're going to look a lot smoother.
Right.
And a lot of that flaking oxidized metal is going to be removed.
Right. Well, the nice thing is once this is clean, when I give it back to my mechanic, it's going to be so much easier for him to work on it.
Mechanics love it.
Plus to identify exactly where the leaks are coming from, like if there is a specific location or... No, so true.
Yeah.
Mechanics love dry ice because it makes their job a lot easier, especially when you have a lot of rust proofing or built up just gunk and grease and things like that. Just around the bolts, I'm sure it makes it a lot easier to remove certain parts.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of transmission fluid leak here. Yeah, the engine, apparently the engine, transmission and rear end of this is apparently out of a 78 Camaro.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
For its age,
You've seen worse, haven't you?
I've definitely seen worse.
A video of you with all the get-up on. Look at this. Walter White right there.
I've got too much hair in my ears. They won't fit.
Oh, for crying out loud, Frank. Stick them in. All right, so this is noisy. Chris? All right, do your thing.
Volume of ice coming out, so pounds per minute.
Okay.
So volume of ice, pounds per minute. I have my particulate size. and I have my pressure coming out of the gun.
Hey Frank,
Good brakes.
the best part is,
Yeah.
while you're doing all that,
Yeah.
there's a gleam in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're young again. It's like
I'm
you're 19.
no,
You're
16.
16, all right. Oh, that was amazing.
That was fun.
Oh my God, what a
Which
beautiful.
is lock off on start, and you can do a lock, because without the lock, if you leave it just to off, and this is a neat trick, you can turn the car on without the key,
Don't you love that?
which is a great way to
To steal the car, yeah. Oh, Frank,
Get the old 4-barrel cutting
it's
in,
lovely.
and you notice I did that without going over the speed
No,
limit.
no, you were very good.
Yes.
Very good. Yes. Yes, officer, you were doing just
Yeah.
exactly correctly following the rules. Okay, so you mentioned that you're going to put the an AC unit in here.
Yeah, it's vintage.
What else are you doing?
Well, Vintage Air, the gauge cluster is getting replaced with a
Right.
digital unit. It'll look identical to this, but everything will be digital. Because right now, I can't show you, when I'm on the highway, if I'm doing 60 miles an hour,
Yeah.
the speedometer is bouncing all over the place.
Okay.
And the gas gauge is questionable in terms of now it's showing a quarter of a tank, when I think really I hope more than that.
Right. Yeah, so the gas gauge is just sort of an idea as to
Yeah.
how much gas should be in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you realize when you say the gas pedal fluctuates at 60, it's because your foot's going up and down, Frank. I think the two things are
Oh, is that
correlated.
what
Yeah,
it is? Because I can be doing 60 and it bounces up to 110.
Yeah, it's because you're a little bit heavy-footed at times and you're thinking,
I don't think I'd have the guts yet to try and
Not
take
yet,
this car
not yet.
at that speed,
No.
at least not on our roads, even for me.
but hey, one day on a track, that might be a fun
Yes.
little experiment.
Definitely. And I want to do a little bit more work on the suspension to get some of the bounce out of it. We've put all brand new shocks and everything in there, and I think we've got to get some adjustable shocks on it.
Now,
This
I
is-
have a question
yeah,
though. When you
okay.
say you're going to go with the air conditioning unit, is that the big unit that sort of mounts
it'll
under
mount
the dash?
underneath here.
It
yeah.
is, right?
So when I get the digital gauge, this can all disappear and they
Right,
can mount it under there.
right. Very cool.
But this is actually what I would call my first sort of hot rod. I've got a lot of
Yeah.
classic cars, but nothing like this.
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah. So I want to have a lot of fun with this.
Very cool. Since we're here, what are all the buttons in now? What does that one do on that one?
That's
there? Yeah.
the lights, windshield wiper, and it doesn't have windshield washers. It was an option. The car didn't come with it. So we
Isn't
got to
that
take care of that.
Yeah,
The fan works, but the heater controls don't.
yeah.
The radio original doesn't work.
That knob there.
Cigarette
Oh,
lighter.
cigarette.
You know me. Yeah, cigarette lighter and an ashtray. Or you know me, I don't buy
Yes.
cars without those.
That's right.
And that's got to be fixed because it isn't working.
So how do you manage it, Frank? You must be struggling through this.
Oh, I use a lighter.
Oh, shh.
And
Okay.
the other thing, the horn currently isn't hooked up. So if I want to use the horn, there's a little button,
Ah, isn't that something?
which is kind of dangerous because if I've got to beep at someone quickly trying to get underneath there is a
And
little
we
awkward.
know your ability to multitask is
Yes. Well,
is frail at the best of
it's
times.
not even existent.
Yeah. Okay.
When he called me and said, Frank, I'm ready to sell it, and if he was smart, he would have sold it to me 10 years ago because he would have gotten a lot more money for it than he did this time. I wouldn't say I picked the car up for peanuts, but I got it pretty cheaply, which is good because I've probably put about $20,000 into this car already.
No doubt. And more to come still, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So it's these are labors of love,
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean, I don't care because I don't intend to sell it.
Yeah.
So.
Sure. But I'm just saying, Frank, I mean, as Christmas approaches,
Yeah.
if you're looking for gift ideas for myself, there's plenty of room under my little Christmas tree if you're so inclined.
There you go. Or I could say the same thing to you.
Well, you could.
If you feel generous at Christmas time, there are more things I need for my
No,
cars.
but you don't. Yeah, but I was going to buy you a new car, but you don't have any more parking
No,
spots. So
okay.
otherwise, so that kind of
Oh, well.
kiboshes that idea. So good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Frank,
Yeah.
this is a real treat. You're right. I think this is your hot rod, isn't
is.
it?
Yeah.
It's just different level of car. Very, very cool. Goes way faster than anybody could ever
Yeah.
imagine. I could just picture the people at traffic lights looking at this as, there's Granddad over there, so no offense, you know what I'm saying? And they look at this, and then you could probably outpace all of them. So
And it's a lot of fun, and
For
I
sure.
get a lot of people giving me the good old thumbs up when I blow their doors
right
off.
on. I know personally, I think you did the right thing, keeping the original patina, the look, and everything else that it's got going. Because hey, it's got character.
It took, since 1955 to create this. Why would I want to cover it up?
Why ruin something
Exactly.
so perfect? I
Yeah.
agree. So it's amazing. Thank you again.
Thanks, Kevin.